Hey everyone, Jake here for Extreme Terrain, and in this video we're taking a look at the MagnaFlow Overland Series Axleback exhaust system fitting 2018 and newer 2-liter JL Wranglers. This exhaust is perfect for the JL owner who wants it all. Great sound, tunable volume levels, high quality materials, and additional clearance for off-roading. Now this one is a bit more difficult to rate on our volume scale given that you can tune the sound. However, in its loudest form, we're going to give this a very solid 3 out of 5 on our loudness meter. Certainly a noticeable difference versus stock, but not too over the top, which makes it perfect for that overland adventure rig or your daily driver. In stock form, the JL's 2-liter turbo really doesn't make a lot of noise, but MagnaFlow has got that problem solved for you right here. Now, while this isn't a full-on catback, it still provides a noticeable difference versus your stock setup. The tone is deeper here, it's more grumbly, and you even get a hint of some little crackles interspersed every so often. The sound is controlled by this 18-inch suitcase-style muffler that features MagnaFlow's no drone technology. This utilizes passive quarter-wave noise cancellation, and what that does is it cancels out unwanted or obtrusive frequencies that cause drone, so it makes the sound waves come together in such a way that you don't get that dissonant frequency. So even if you're putting in a lot of time behind the wheel of your JL, you're not going to have to deal with that annoying drone inside of the cabin, and you can just enjoy the additional sound. Now, if you're wondering what these 3 other pieces on the table are for, well, that's the party piece here. Now, using these different pieces, you can tune the volume of this system to your liking. You've got the cap, which you can pop right on here on the accessory port of the muffler, and that's going to be your loudest volume setting. Now, if you want to tone things down a little but not too much, you get this J-pipe, slide that on, and put the cap on the end of that. And if you want things to be even more subdued, pop the cap off, and you've got this resonator right here. You can slide it on the end of the J-pipe. Now these are also going to combat drone for you, and it allows you to customize exactly how loud your exhaust is. So if you're heading on a long drive or to a quiet campsite, you can put that resonator on. Or if you just like some additional noise, run it with just the cap. Any way you set it up though, I think it sounds pretty darn good, and you get a more than acceptable level of volume. This one is also a high tuck system, so there are no big tips and nothing hangs down below the bumper of the Jeep, making it perfect for you if you're planning on doing any off-roading, as this isn't going to impact ground clearance or your departure angle, and it actually gives you a little bit more compared to your stock muffler. Construction here is all T409 grade stainless steel, which is all CNC precision manufactured and mandrel bent, and this is made right here in the USA. The build quality, as we've come to expect from MagnaFlow, is pretty good, and it offers a nice compromise here because you're not paying quite as much because of that T304 stainless material. So you're still going to get some good protection against rust and corrosion, but you don't have to shell out a ton of money to get it, which leaves room for those other things that we had included in here. And that brings us nicely to the price. This one's going to set you back about $850. Now that does put it toward the top end of the category. So this is a premium exhaust, but where you're paying for that additional money is you've got those additional features, the cap, the resonator, and the J-pipe here. You've got that tunable exhaust on top of MagnaFlow's no drone technology included in here. So this is stuff that you're not going to find even on the most expensive axlebacks out there. So yes, while it might cost you a little bit more than maybe you were anticipating, if you can find the room in your budget and you value that flexibility, this is well worth the investment. Installation gets a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you around 1 hour to complete. Now this is designed to be a bolt-on setup that's going to utilize your factory exhaust hanger locations, and it doesn't require you to make any modifications to your Jeep. You may spend a little extra time playing around with the different options to get it sounding exactly how you'd like, but the overall installation is very straightforward and simple. That said though, let's head on out to the shop and we'll walk you through the install process.
The tools you'll need for this project are an impact gun, a ratchet, a 13mm socket, a long extension, and a 15mm socket. Hi everyone, today we're installing an exhaust on our Wrangler, so let's get started with the uninstall of the stock exhaust first. All right, first thing we need to do is get our muffler disconnected from the isolators. And we've got one right over here on the driver's side, right at the top of the muffler, and we've got another one on the passenger side in the same location. So we're going to be using our large pry bar to get up in here and between the isolator and the frame and just pry that to the inside of the vehicle until it slides off of the hanger. Now we've got one side off, we'll go over to the passenger side now and get that one off. Now with our isolators removed, we can go ahead and loosen up this clamp right over the axle using our 15mm socket. Now with that clamp loosened up, we can go ahead and remove our muffler. Just work it back and forth as we're pulling it back. Now to install our new muffler, first thing we're going to do is slide one of our clamps over the inlet pipe for the muffler, making sure that the nut to tighten up the clamp is actually going to be towards the outside of the vehicle. Now, depending on your situation, you may find it easier to remove these hangers from the frame rails. And to do that, you're going to need a 13mm socket to remove this bolt here at the bottom, and then another one that goes in from the front towards the rear. So we'll go ahead and use our 13mm socket to take those off. And now you can repeat that process for the other side. Now you may also find it easier to use some spray lubricant on the inside of the isolators here to help it slide over the hanger on the muffler. And we'll put the other isolator on the other side. Now we can go ahead and put our muffler up and insert our exhaust pipe over the axle into our muffler pipe. Now we can go ahead, making sure that our clamp is on our pipe, slide this over the over-axle pipe. All right, now using the original hardware, we'll go ahead and secure our hanger back on the frame. And now we can tighten them down using our 13mm socket. And now you can repeat that process for the other side. Now with our hangers back in place, we can go ahead and tighten up our clamp above the axle. And for that, we're going to be using our 15mm socket and a long extension to get up there easily. Now you want this clamp to be right at the edge of your muffler pipe. And then tighten it down. Now that our muffler is secured to the vehicle, now it's time for you to make a decision as to what kind of sound you want out of the vehicle. Now MagnaFlow has developed their no drone technology built into this muffler, but they've also added some additional pieces here that you can put on for additional no drone technology. One of them is simply this cap. And this cap, when you use one of the clamps supplied, can go right on the end of the muffler here, and this will actually give you your loudest sound available with this system. Now, if you choose to be quieter, or your drone preference is slightly less than full exhaust, they also supply this U-pipe and a resonator. So you can do either the U-pipe and you can add the cap onto the end of the U-pipe, or you can put the U-pipe and the resonator. So it's all depending on what you want and what your preferences are. So for our purposes today, we're just going to install the cap on the end of the muffler. I've already shown you how the rest of it goes. If you decide to use the U-pipe, you'll put a clamp on the U-pipe here on the end of the muffler. You'll also put one on the end of the resonator and tuck that up out of the way and tighten everything down. So like I said, for our purposes today, we're just going to install the cap on the end of the muffler. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and slide our clamp over our cap, slide that onto the back of the muffler, and then using our 15mm socket, we'll tighten up that clamp. And that wraps up our review and install of the MagnaFlow Overland Series Axleback exhaust system for your 18 and newer 2.0 and 3.6 Jeep Wrangler JL. Thanks for watching, and remember, for all things Wrangler, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.